Authorizing requests. API use authorizations to ensure that client requests access data securely. This can involve authenticating the sender of a request and confirming that they have permission to access or manipulate the relevant data. If you're building an API, you can choose from a variety of auth models. If you're integrating a third-party API, the required authorization will be specified by the API provider. You can pass auth details along with any request you send in Postman. Auth data can be included in the header, body, or as parameters to a request. If you enter your auth details in the Authorization tab, Postman will automatically populate the relevant parts of the request for your chosen auth type. You can use variables and collections to define authorization details more safely and efficiently, enabling you to reuse the same information in multiple places. So in the previous video, we created our JWT JSON Web Token. So I'm gonna go into my API and I'm gonna right click. Okay, I'm gonna type in code space that so I can open it in Visual Studio Code. And we build this. So my script is gonna be example. So I'm gonna run it. It's gonna be npm run examples like that. And so I'm opening Visual Studio Code and I'm running the server so I can use Postman. So right now I'm gonna open Postman. I have it installed here. I'm gonna close this. I have it right here. I'm gonna click it. You can download it from the official Postman website. I have a video showing you how. Okay, so this is Postman, and yeah, it's running. Let me see the routes here. So we have these two routes, the slash and the slash sign. So let me see in the slash sign what do we have here. If I go to the body, if I click send, so I have user 4, I have the password of the user 4, and it's a hash password, and I also have a token. So what we're gonna see right now is gonna be two important things, that is the bearer token and the JWT bearer. But first we are gonna go into the specifying authorization details. So specifying authorization details with a request open in Postman, use the Authorization tab. Use the Authorization tab. If you go to Postman, let me bring it here, and it's right here. So this is the authorization. You have, this is the tab, the Authorization tab, and if you go into type, you have inherit auth from, you have no auth, API key, bearer token, JWT bearer, basic auth, digest auth. We have the auth 1.0 or 1.0. You have the auth 2.0, hog authentication. You have the AWS signature, the NTLM authentication, and Akamai Edge Grid. So we have all the stuff here. For example, if I grab this token, let me see if I grab this token, if I can go to the bearer token and I can paste it like right here. I can click send. Let me see. So I haven't built a get request, but we're gonna see this. With a request open in Postman, use the Authorization tab to select an auth type. They complete the relevant details for your selected type. The correct data values will be determined by your API at the server side. If you're using a third-party API, refer to the provider's documentation for any required auth details. So easier API authentication is available for certain public APIs. So for more information, you can check out this link. And here they give us a screenshot. As you can see here, they are in the Authorization tab, and this is the type they're using, API key. You have the key, your value, so this is a key value pair. You can use these auth types with Numen and monitors as well as in Postman. When you select a type from the type drop-down list, Postman will indicate which parts of the request your details will be included in, for example, the header, the body, URL, or query parameters. Postman adds your auth details to the relevant parts of the request when you select or enter them, so you can preview how your data will be sent before you run the request. Your auth data will appear in the relevant parts of the request, for example, in the headers tab to show headers that were added automatically. Select hidden, so we have another screenshot. We have here, we're using a post method, and the authorization tab to the right. We have the headers tab, and they're talking about here headers, and we have hidden, so we have this one. We can close here. So this is where you would put for your name, your email, password. We have that. And what else? And these headers will be automatically added and sent with the request. Click to view and modify these headers. So hover over a header to get information about where it was added. To change an auth header, return to the Authorization tab and update your configuration. You can add override headers added by your authorization selections directly in the headers tab. If you need different auth headers from those auto-generated by Postman, alter your setup and authorization, or remove your auth setup and add headers manually. So your request auth can use environment, collection, and global variables. Postman doesn't save header data or query parameters. To avoid exposing sensitive data such as API keys, you can inspect a raw dump of the entire request, including auth data in the Postman console after you send it. So we already saw the specifying authorization details. Now we are gonna see just the bearer token and the JWT bearer. So we can go here. The bearer token. Bearer tokens enable requests to authenticate using an access key, such as JSON Web Token (JWT). The token is a text stream. So we're talking about this is a text string. This is our token generated by JWT, included in the request header. In the request authorization tab, select the bearer token. So they're talking about, if you go into authorization and you go into this particular tab, from the type drop-down list and the token field, enter your API key value for added security, store it in a variable and reference the variable by name. Postman will append the token value to the text bearer in the required format to the request authorization headers as follows. So we have the bearer, and here you have your API keys. If a custom prefix is needed, use an API key with a key of authorization.